Welcome to episode 15 of the Purl Passion podcast. I'm Megan from Purl Passion. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you should definitely go do that. I'm also on Facebook. You can find me on Purl Passion. Welcome to my podcast. I am going to go live today. And later in the podcast, I'm going to give a quick little tutorial or a quick little I'm already losing my words. I've only been doing this for 5 minutes. Quick little show of my dyeing space that I have set up. And push those out of the way because you guys don't get to see those. I'm going to give you guys a quick little update on how my dyeing space is going, and I'll show that off to you guys and show you how I have everything set up and organized. For now, little update on how the last couple weeks have been. Last couple of weeks have been super busy. My son, who is 4, started pre-K this year. So he is going to school 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in the afternoons. So this is his first full week of school. So that's been interesting, transitioning from, having him at home all the time to having to, pack him a snack and get him out the door. It's been an interesting transition, but I'm hoping that within the next couple of weeks, we'll all get a routine down and it'll all be second nature. And me and Ellie will have our routine in the afternoon, and he'll go off to school, and hopefully things will get easier. As you guys may know, my husband is a teacher. The first couple weeks of back to school are always super crazy for teachers, especially since I live in Saskatchewan and we just last week got our mask mandate put back in effect. So that kind of shook things up a little bit on how they were doing things at the school and kind of, put him on edge. He told me this morning, I shouldn't tell you guys this story because he's probably going to be embarrassed by it, but I'm going to tell you anyway because it's funny. So every day, my husband makes this big, giant mug of coffee, and it's like huge. And he fills it up like a whole pot and puts it in it and takes it to school, and then he drinks it all day. And this mug keeps it hot all day. But this morning, he took it, as he always does, put it on his desk, took the lid off to let it cool a little so he could drink it. And then when he looked back down, he said there was at least 3 flies floating in his coffee. And if you guys know my husband, you'll instantly know exactly what I knew he did. I was like, so what did you do? And he's like, well, of course, I just scooped the flies out and kept drinking it. There was no other option. And if that doesn't perfectly explain a teacher in September, I don't know what does. Either had to drink the coffee, scoop the flies out and drink the coffee, or not have coffee all day. And that wasn't an option. So he just drank the coffee. But it was quite funny. But I just wanted to say thank you to all those teachers out there. I know September is hard. COVID is hard. And I just wanted to say to anyone who thinks that anyone who thinks that all teachers are in it for the summer holidays and a paycheck, I definitely could have some choice words for you because my husband hasn't been home. Well, he's been probably most nights in the last 2 weeks been at the school till at least 11 o'clock at night. So it's been crazy. So I've been busy. But hopefully things will get into a more routine and things will get a little easier for him and it'll get a little easier for us and we'll settle in for the winter and things will get a little easier. But for now, things are a little frazzled in my life, and I'm pretty sure Ellie's going to cut a tooth anytime now because the poor thing's cheeks are bright red and she is miserable. She's, just not doing so good. The last couple days she's been just drooling, chewing on everything. Everything's just a spitty mess. It's been a rough couple of weeks. Honestly, I'm barely holding it together, but That's what you do when you got a baby and a 4-year-old. You just keep on trucking. But yeah, other than that, I guess that is pretty much my life. Yesterday was the election here in Canada, so that was exciting. I love election nights. I love watching the elections. In case you guys don't know, fun fact about me, I have a double major in political science and psychology from the University of New Brunswick in Fredericton. So yeah, I've always loved politics and really enjoy watching elections. Just, I don't know, just the statistics and who votes what, and just the whole, I don't know, just the whole, I don't know, demographic of it all, and how different places vote different ways, and just I like it. Only happens every couple of years, but I still like it. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, I enjoyed staying up last night and watching the election. Yeah, but other than that, that's kind of what's been going on in my life. I've been getting a little bit of stuff done around here, shockingly. I don't know how, considering Ellie hasn't been sleeping, but neither have I guess. I've learned now that I remember before I had kids, I used to think that I was one of these people who just needed to sleep till 1 p.m. in the afternoon every Saturday and Sunday, because that's what I did. But I've learned that I can get by on way less sleep, and that I wasted a lot of my life sleeping. Imagine how many things I could have knit or designed or done if I had not slept all those hours before I had kids. Because now I'm sleeping like maybe 3 to 4 hours a night. And that's a good night. And I'm not too bad. Like, well, I'm also a caffeine addict, which helps a lot. But yeah, I'm surviving. Not well, but surviving. I was talking to someone on the phone today. I was eating a tub of ice cream with a baby spoon. Non-dairy ice cream, of course, because my child is allergic to dairy and I can't have actual ice cream anymore. So I was eating non-dairy ice cream with a baby spoon. And she was like, "Is that because you want to take smaller bites?" Or like, and I'm like, "No, it's because it's the only clean spoon we have in our house right now." Because I'm killing it. Anyways, the dishes were loaded in the dishwasher, and the dishwasher was on, or else I would have, washed a spoon or something. But no, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a total lie. I would never have washed a spoon. I would have just used the baby spoon, or I would have resorted to a fork before I washed the spoon. But the dishwasher was going, and all the spoons were in there, so they're clean now. So after this podcast, when I go up to have some more ice cream, I can eat it with a real spoon instead of a baby spoon. But yeah, I wanted to let you guys know that my sister, I don't know, I probably have never said this on this podcast, but I guess I could give you guys a little bit of update on why and how I started the whole Purl Passion. Purl Passion started as my Instagram page. I've been knitting for a really long time. I wanted to start designing, so I created an Instagram page. Except for it wasn't even my idea to start the Instagram page. It was actually my sister's idea. My sister had this idea that I should start this Instagram page and put all my knitting on Instagram. And I, not being as young as I once was, didn't really, I had always been on Facebook because Facebook was the social media when I was, youngin'. I'm not that old. I'm only 34, but still. I wasn't on Instagram. I didn't really know how to use Instagram. I kind of just was like, I know that Instagram is a lot of pictures of people with, who exercise and look nice, and that's not me. So I kind of avoided Instagram. But then my sister was like, yeah, you should really start an Instagram page and put your knitting all up on Instagram. So I was like, well, and I was really hesitant at first. And she's like, no, like, we're doing this. Anyone who knows my sister knows that she's a force to be reckoned with. We'll say that. She's like, no, Megan, we're doing this. So she helped me set up this Instagram page. We kind of started it together. So it was kind of a joint venture. I was doing the knitting, and she was kind of doing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. So she's always kind of been doing some of the behind the scenes stuff for me for Pearl Passion. Um, Obviously, I'm doing the knitting, but um, until now. So, if you were following me on Instagram, a couple of posts ago, I posted some fall colored yarn that I had dyed for her. So she told me that if I dyed her up some fall colors and sent them to her, she would start knitting a scarf. So instead of just doing like the behind the scenes Pearl Fashion stuff, I was like, maybe someday you could like become part of the Pearl Fashion. Anyways, that's just my head going. I'm sure she's gonna watch this podcast and be like, oh man, no, I didn't say that. Like I can barely knit. Anyways, my sister's knitting and I'm really excited about it. But yeah, she cast it on. I sent her needles and the yarn, and the needles were circular needles, which she had never used before. She knows how to knit. She could do the knit stitch, but she's only ever knit on straight needles, and she's only ever kind of just did it a little bit. It wasn't really like she ever finished a project. So she was like, I'm going to finish a project. I'm going to make an infinity scarf. So I sent her circular needles, and she was like, what are these? And what do I do with this? So I had to teach her how to use circular needles, which isn't really that hard for anyone who doesn't know how to use circular needles. It's pretty much the same thing. There's just, instead of having the yarn on this side, you kind of have it down here instead. Anyways, it's pretty easy. It's not that hard. You just got to get used to it, I guess, like anything else. But yeah. So she's now cast on an infinity scarf. She's joined it in the round. She's learned to purl. So she is doing it in garter stitch. So she's, because she's doing it in the round, she's knitting every row, every second row, and then purling the other row to get like a garter stitch infinity scarf. And I think it's looking really great. And I am going to hound her to send me some progress pictures so that I can post them on Instagram. Or just get her to post them on Instagram. I guess I could do that too, because she has behind the scenes access to all my stuff. Not that she uses it that often, but she does. Every once in a while, I get a text from her, because she's also got my the Pearl Passion email on her phone. So every once in a while, I get a text from her and be like, did you spend this much money on something? Because I just got a text saying like, we just spent a lot of money. Yeah, she's like, I kind of had a panic attack. I was like, I hope that wasn't me who bought that. Anyways, it freaks her out every time. But yeah, exciting. She's knitting, and I'm gonna hopefully be able to show you guys her progress and see how that yarn looks knit up, because I'm excited to see that, because I want to see how that really pretty fall colors that I dyed looks when she knits it up. And hopefully she'll be able to wear it, and she'll be proud of it, and she'll love it. And she'll go on to knit bigger and better things. Maybe next she'll need a matching hat. But yeah, that's super exciting for me. But yeah, I guess I have her to thank for this kind of journey that I've been on the last, how many years has it been since I've been on Instagram? Wow, it's been a long time. It was when Alex was first born, so like 3 or 4 years since I started Pearl Passion, and she was the driving factor behind it. So it's kind of awesome that she's now taking an interest in knitting. And it's kind of funny, because when I really started knitting obsessively was when I was in university, and I kind of did it just because I needed something to do with my hands, and I wanted to, get some stress relief. And the funny thing is now that she's in school, she's starting to knit, which I find funny, but yeah. We'll see if she sticks with it. If not, that's okay. It's my thing. It doesn't have to be her thing. But yeah, so I guess for finished objects, you guys have probably noticed and have been dying to hear me talk about it, but I am wearing my finished sweater. In a little bit, I'll turn the camera around and I'll stand up so you guys can see the bottom of it. These are the sleeves. So it is the So Faded sweater by Ellery. and I followed the pattern. You can tell it's worsted weight, or sorry, it's fingering weight yarn. I just kind of went stash diving to find it. I decided to use all Direwolf Yarn Co. yarn that I had in my stash. So I kind of just played around with some of the colors I had from Steph at Direwolf and created this fade. I'm really happy how it turned out, really. I think it might be my favorite sweater now. It's the best. I absolutely love it. But yeah, it was a sew faded sweater, and it has the garter detail on the shoulders, and then it stops here and then just goes stockinette. The original sew faded pattern, I stuck with the pattern except for the sleeves. The original sleeves were like tapered, so they were more of a tight fit around the wrist, which I didn't want, so I just kind of made them more of a fuller sleeve, which I like better. And I like my sleeves really long. In case you haven't noticed, I like them to drape over my hands. I did that on purpose. I didn't just knit them too long. I actually like my sleeves to be long. I like to be able to hold them in my hands when it's cold. And because I like to play with them, because I'm an anxious person, and I don't know, I just like something to play with my fingers. Just my preferred sleeve length. Anyways, yeah, the fade turned out really awesome. I really love it, especially since it was just kind of like a stash diving fade. Like, it wasn't intended to be a fade this way. So the top color is succulent, and then there's 4 colors. There's this green that has some purples and blues in it. So I did that for the yoke and the tops of the sleeves, and then I did like a light blue. I guess it's easier for me to show you on the sleeves. This light blue color, and then I faded it into like a multicolored with darker blues into it. And then I faded that into this color, which was part of Steph's Toxic Love kit that she did. I think it was for Valentine's Day. And this color was based on Harley Quinn. And then I faded that into this color. If you guys don't know, Steph ended up being, I met Stephanie from Direwolf because she was my fiber share partner when I did fiber share last year. Was it last year? Yeah, last year. I think it was last year. Or was it 2 years ago? I don't know. Time in COVID, just, I don't know. It's like COVID stopped time. It's like there's a year that just doesn't exist in my world anymore. I keep saying things happened last year, but really it was like 2 years ago, which is, I don't know. I can't remember. I'm bad with time. I have 2 babies and I only get a little bit of sleep, so. And this mug of coffee is giant. Like, it's almost as big as my head. Oh, actually, I think I've showed you guys this before, but this is my sheep mug. My in-laws got me this mug for Christmas. They actually made it. So it's hand-painted by my in-laws, which I love. And it is massive, which is definitely a plus. So yeah, I'm chugging away on coffee because I know that I'm probably not going to get any sleep tonight because I got Ellie to sleep. And then the second I walked down the stairs, turned the baby monitor on, she was already flipped over because she can roll now. So she was already flipped over, laying on her stomach and looking up at the baby monitor. I was like, oh, jeez. So I made my husband go get her, and he's with her upstairs now. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, this was my finished object. When I put my laptop on a turntable. So when I show you guys my dye room, I'll just turn around and stand up so you guys can see the whole thing. And I will post pictures on my Instagram in actual sunlight so you guys can see the colors a little better. But I love it. It's awesome. I was so hesitant to do a fingering weight sweater just because it takes a lot of time and commitment and a lot of stitches. But I actually love how it turned out. I think it's probably my favorite sweater because it's so cozy and yet like not too hot. And the colors are just beautiful. Thanks, Steph. I love them. But yeah, I guess I'll move on to my works in progress. I cast it on a new project the other day. So I am going to make my husband a sweater. because I've made one for me, I've made one for Alex, I've made one for Ellery, and I've not made one for my husband yet. So he's due for a sweater because I've never made him a sweater. Although, in all fairness, he honestly doesn't wear sweaters that often. So I'm kind of like, I've always just been like, he's never going to wear it anyway. So why do I make him a sweater? The only sweater he ever wears is like this Canada sweater, and it's like a zip up, like sports sweater, and it's not even like a real sweater. It's like almost like a tracksuit sweater or whatever. It's like that, like rainproof material kind of thing. It's not really a sweater. Anyways, I'm gonna knit him a sweater because he promised me he'd wear it, and he's gonna wear it. Even if it just means I'm gonna wear it, to take a picture of it. But I am going to make him a sweater in that blue yarn, because his favorite color is blue, that I dyed up. So this is going to be the Flax Sweater. So if you guys haven't heard of the Flax Sweater, it's by Tin Can Knits. And I made one for Alex 2 years ago. Man, I am bad with time. It's no wonder I even know how old I am. Anyways, I made this one for my son, which barely fits him, so he's almost due for a new one soon. But the Flax Sweater is pretty well known. It has this detailing on the sleeve, so it's got some garter all going down the sleeve, and that's just like a basic stockinette raglan. But it's one of my favorite patterns for just like a basic sweater, and I especially like it for men's sweaters because I really think that this this detail is interesting enough, but like not too interesting that a man would run away from it, kind of thing. Or a man like my husband who's not, we'll say, not adventurous with his clothing. I still can't get him to wear sandals with jeans because he seems to think that you can only wear sandals with shorts and you can only wear sneakers with jeans. Someday I'm going to get him to wear sandals with jeans, and it's going to be a victory for me. I don't know why he seems to think that. You guys should comment down below if you guys, if there's like some rule that I'm missing out, or if this is just like, I don't know, thing guys do. You can't wear sandals with jeans. I wear sandals with jeans all summer long. Anyways, so yeah, I'm casting on the Flax Sweater. I'm doing it in this yarn, which has been dyed by me. I didn't dye enough to make the whole sweater, I don't think. I think I'm definitely going to run out before I finish the sweater. So I think what I'm going to do is kind of do like a 2-color. So like do the light to like here and on the sleeves to like here, and then dye like just like a plain navy blue and then do the rest. So it's going to be like 2-tone is my plan anyway. We'll see how that turns out. But yeah, I'm knitting on my new Chiku needles, which you guys didn't see. I bought myself a set of Chiku needles, which I absolutely love. I'm loving them to death. Like, they're fantastic. I don't know how I ever lived knitting with anything else, honestly. But yeah, so I'm going to work on that sweater. I have some other plans to cast on some other projects in the next coming weeks here. I'm just working on getting some yarn dyed up for it because I'm going to dye the yarn myself for these projects. So yeah, I want to use my own colors, so I'm waiting to be able to dye the yarns for my colorways. But yeah, that's my Flax Sweater for my husband, and we'll see how that goes. Oh, and I'm still using my Fiberlux stitch markers. If I had have been smart and looked, I could have told you what these ones are, and I'm sure that they're very pretty anyway. I tried to use like a dark colored one for my beginning of row so that I would be able to tell it apart from the other ones, which are lighter. But yeah, I absolutely love them. They're my favorite stitch markers now, especially when I'm knitting with like this is a size 8 needle. So yeah, they're perfect. They're like this. It's hard to see them. But yeah, I took pictures and put them on my Instagram anyway. They're like a hexagon with just a little semi-precious stone attached. And they're classic and they're real stones, and I absolutely love them. And if you want to check out Fiberlux, you can find her on Instagram. I think she goes by, her name is, I think, Dina. correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to look that up to make sure I'm not wrong, because I would feel awful if I was wrong. I'm going to tell you her Instagram so that you guys can go look her up. I'm always second guessing my name. Myself. Yes, her name is Dina. I knew that. See, I don't know. I don't want to be wrong. But it's at FIBERLUXECO, Fiberlux Co. And she is out of New Jersey, but her stitch markers are actually super reasonably priced. And she ships to Canada, which I love. So yeah, go check them out. They're my favorite stitch markers now. And I'm just, using them for all my projects because I love them. And now I'm going to have to buy some more. So that's the only work in progress I have really going on right now. I do plan on casting on, like I said, some more. Alex wants me to knit him a new flax sweater because this one's starting to get small on him, which means Ellie will probably be able to wear it in a year or so. It'll be big on her, but Ellie will be able to wear it eventually because, who doesn't love a green sweater? But Alex now wants me to knit him one that's like this color, like a lime green, and then this color lime green, and then like this color blue, I think he said. It's gonna be a loud sweater. He picked it out though, but I'm not starting that one yet. But eventually I will start that one. I guess other than knitting, I've been doing a lot of work on setting up my dyeing studio that I'm working on. I've also been doing a lot of work getting some dyeing. So as you guys know, I've decided that I'm going to do, I am going to open an Etsy store, and my yarn will be available to purchase in the new year. Not exactly sure when yet, but in the coming days, I'll be able to tell you guys. So I probably will be opening an Etsy store in 2022. Oh my gosh. When did that happen? No. 2022. Sometime I will be opening an Etsy store and you'll be able to purchase all the yarn in my new collections. But right now I'm just working on getting colorways, making sure they're reproducible, getting some recipes down, trying to set up my space so that I have everything set up so that I can kind of do orders from my basement. I kind of saw some colorways. I can show you. I've been working on a lot. I'm not going to show them all to you right now because they'll come out on Instagram. The light down here is crap anyway. So, I have almost finished my first collection. So I guess I'm going to let you guys know what my first collection is. So my first collection is going to be called Ellery's Closet, and it is based on my daughter and all her tiny little baby clothes. So I've got inspiration from like all her little onesies, and there's just different parts of her closet and her wardrobe, little pair of shoes that I've drawn inspiration from and tried to replicate the different colors in her clothing, which I think is a really cool idea. And if I stick with dyeing and it does well, then I'll probably continue to do it kind of every year and release like a Ellery's first year clothes and Ellery's second when she's 1 year old and when she's 2 years old. And I think it kind of can grow with her. And I think it'd be interesting to see just over the years how things change, and especially when she develops her own style and mommy doesn't pick her clothes for her anymore. Someday that'll happen. But like, for example, this is one of the little onesies that she owned. Sadly, she just grew out of it. It doesn't actually fit her anymore. It's a 3 to 6 month onesie, but I'm, of course, keeping it because I'm going to take pictures of it with the yarn and I'm going to save it forever. This is one of the articles of clothing that I'm going to make a colorway based on this. It's not exactly, obviously. Obviously, I'm not going to like make flowers or anything on the yarn, but it's just the color is inspired by this little onesie. I so far have, I think about 8 colors that are finalized, except I haven't, so I have recipes for them all. I haven't tested reproducing them and seeing if I'm getting exactly the same result every time yet. So I am going to do that just to make sure that I'm making sure that I can replicate and that my recipe is perfect before I actually start, selling them to people, so that when I say I'm able to reproduce them, then I'm actually able to reproduce very close to what I did the first time, kind of thing. Obviously, every skein of yarn is individual, and you're never going to have two exactly alike, but that's just how hand-dyed yarn goes. But yeah, that's one of my little onesies, and I just kind of kept it down here because it's part of my inspiration. But yeah, I am almost done. Like I said, I have 8 completed. I think I'm going to work on maybe one. I think I have about 10 that I want to do. I'm not really sure yet. I've done a couple that have kind of flopped for sure. That didn't turn out the way I wanted to, and I kind of went a different way. But I think I'm gonna go for 10. I have 8 so far. So I think I'm gonna get 2 more. So it's kind of like a balance of different variegated, some tonals, some solids. But I think it's gonna be really cool. I'm really excited to be able to show it to you guys. But yeah, I'm hoping to get the other 2 finished up this weekend, and then hopefully next week is my goal. We'll see if I'm able to accomplish it. Right now, I don't like to commit to time frames at all, because with Ellie being, teething and not sleeping well, and just my life is a little chaotic these days. So I hope, but I don't promise, that I will have them on Instagram next week. But I'm hoping to release them all on Instagram next week, so you guys can all see them. And then I'm going to reproduce some of them and knit some things out of them myself. So that's going to be exciting. That way you guys will be able to see exactly how they look knit up. Because I think that's important. I like to be able to see how yarns knit up. I always really appreciate that when dyers have like the samples, like little gauge swatches or whatever, knit up out of the yarn, just so that you can see what it looks like when it's knit up. Further, obviously, for the repeatable colors, when it's like one of a kind color, you're obviously not going to use one of them to make a sample. But yeah, I appreciate that. So I think that's my goal is to try and be able to do that for my reproducible colors, so that I can show you guys what it looks like when it's knit up. But yeah, that's my exciting news, I guess. I do have another collection that I'm going to do after this one, which is based on my son. But I haven't started doing any. I've kind of wrote out all the ideas for it, but I haven't actually started dyeing that one yet. I'm going to do this one first, and then finalize this one, and then I'll move on to that one. But I am hoping to have 2 full collections before I open my Etsy store, which will be exciting. Yeah. So I think that's all I had to show you guys. As far as knitting and yarn, I have some yarn over there, but I can show you guys too. But I'm not going to show you any of my collection yarn other than what I've already showed you accidentally. Look, I'll do this. Sneak peeks. I'm sure you could probably pause your camera and take a little bit of a peek. There is definitely some bright yellow. I'm sure you probably saw that. And we're pretty sure my daughter's favorite color is yellow. We keep, my son keeps playing. He has like the bigger Duplo Lego blocks, and every time he plays Lego with her, she always wants the yellow ones. That's the one she always grabs. So we're pretty sure her favorite color is yellow, or at least that's what we're going with anyway, because she's 6 months old. She can't tell us what her favorite color is, but yeah, so that's exciting. So I think that's all I had to show you guys for now, other than showing you the setup of my dyeing space. So just as a disclaimer, I am obviously a new dyer. I obviously am not a professional. I am working with what I got, trying to do it on the cheap, because I don't have a lot of money. I don't have any fancy equipment. I'm just going with whatever's around and whatever I can find that's cheap kind of thing. So yeah, it's not fancy. But I will show you, and it's also not finished. It's still kind of a work in progress. I got a bunch of stuff kind of laying around, and there's definitely some stuff I want to change and kind of, change up as I learn and figure things out and how I'm going to do things. So yeah, it's a work in progress. I'm sure I will probably do another tour and show you guys again once I get it completely set up and how I like it. But for now, I will give you guys an initial tour. Just a disclaimer, I am currently in my unfinished basement. This is a couch that I brought down from upstairs when I bought my new one. So this is on the back wall of the room, and I have corkboard here. As you guys can see, I have a bunch of mini samples of yarn colors on my corkboard, just of different samples that I've dyed and different colors. I have sample cards of all the different Acme acid dyes. But yeah, the walls are unfinished. They are gyprocked and mudded, and that's about it. They're not painted. The floor is cement, other than the mats that I put down, so I'm not standing on cement while I dye. So yeah, it's nothing fancy. I'm not going to win any decor awards here, but I think it's pretty functional, and I actually kind of like the fact that it's kind of dungy and not nice down here, because when I splatter dye on the wall, I don't feel as bad. So yeah, just bear with me a sec here. I put my laptop on a actual turntable so I can woo, turn it in circles, which is kind of fun. All right, so I am going to put my phone in my pocket. I'm going to turn my computer so you guys can see. Also my sweater, because I haven't showed you the bottom part of it yet, but after I take the last sip of coffee. All right, so this is the bottom of my sweater if you want to see it close up. Tilt the laptop a bit. Okay, so this is my, there we go. This is my dye space. As you can see, it's a really small room in my basement. It's unfinished. It's completely, it doesn't even have a ceiling. If you guys can see up here, there's no ceiling up there. So yeah, it's not fancy, but this is kind of what I've been using, and it's working, and I like it. So I'll start over here. So over here, I have just a plastic table, foldable table, and I have a, I think they call these buffet trays, like a warming table. So I have 3 different steamer pans that fit in here, or you can take a big steamer pan and put it in there. So this basically, it doesn't, it'll just keep it really hot. So I've been using this along with boiling water, which means I don't have to lift all my dyes and put them upstairs on my stove, which I really like. And I picked this up at Canadian Tire about a week ago, and it was on clearance for like $60. So I really liked it, and it's really been working good for me. Because if I have the 3 pans in here, I can do 3 different colors at the same time. And if I want to do a whole bunch of the same color, I can use my huge, bigger pan that I bought on Amazon. So yeah, over here I just have a sunlight, because it's kind of dark down here in case you haven't noticed. I'll tilt this up a little bit so you can see. Yeah, so I have a sunlight over here just in case it's dark down here in the night. And obviously, you can see it's dark outside. But yeah, I have a water jug over here because obviously I'm not in my kitchen. I don't have running water down here. There definitely was some talks between me and my husband about me running the hose, because the hose hookup is right outside this window and the hose is actually right here. So I was like, can I just run the hose in through the window and have running water down here? And he was like, you'll flood the basement. But anyways, yeah. So I got this big water jug over here. which is where I just keep that filled up. It's not filled up right now because I was dyeing the other day and I haven't filled it up since. But yeah, I just keep that filled up and I can use it for water, any water that I need. Over here, I have a bucket, and this is where I do all my pre-soaking for my yarn. So I have a bucket. I just keep refilling it with water in here. And I just set it down here when I'm pre-soaking yarn. Over here, I have some of my yarns, undyed yarns, and I have a fancy garbage can that you really don't need to see. And then when you turn it this way, this is just an old desk that I had. In here, I have a bunch of my reusable cable ties that I use for dyeing, and some gloves, wireless headphones, which are also key for dyeing because I like to listen to music. In here I have some stickers and stuff so that I can label my jars. Also up here I have some gloves. These 3 containers are what contain my actual dyes. I bought these at the dollar store actually, and they are just plastic containers which perfectly fit these little, I think these are the 25-gram dye containers. So they perfectly fit these ones. If I ever get bigger ones, I'm probably going to need to figure out a different solution. But I like to just have them all in there. I'm probably going to label the tops of them too, so that I have a better indication of what it is, so I don't have to pull them all out. But yeah, I have all my dyes up there, obviously, so that my kids can't reach them. So extra paper towel. I have citric acid. And then I have up here just some plastic cups. I've been using those plastic cups to measure and weigh powdered dye. I also have some of these little paper Dixie cups too. And I have this tiny little scale that measures like to the 0.01 decimal place, so that I can measure tiny amounts of powdered dye. I have a cheap kettle that I bought at Walmart that boils water for me. I have, these are dyes that I've already mixed up that I just didn't use all of. So I have, I started doing some of them in plastic bottles, but I find it harder to get the water to mix with the powder unless the water's really hot. So then I started using glass jars, which I find mixes a lot better. So yeah, these are just ones I didn't use. Under here I have, this is kind of like my rinsing cup. So I can rinse my spoons, and then I have measuring spoons here for scooping of dye. This one I use for vinegar, and then a tablespoon for vinegar. And then I have some extras here for scooping extra water. Here I have spoon holders. That just so I don't get dye everywhere, and I have big spoons for pots of dye. Over here, of course, paper towel because I use a ton of paper towel and dye. Down here where you can't really see, I can kind of tilt the camera down for a second, but down there you can see that there's like a plastic squishy mat on the floor just to kind of cover up the cement so that I'm not like walking completely on cement. But yeah, there's some of these bins, which I just buy at the dollar store. I use them for rinsing my yarn and for carrying dishes upstairs because I obviously can't do my dishes down here instead of running water. I use them for all kinds of things, but I like them because they're white, and if color bleeds, you can kind of see better. But yeah, I also use them to chuck dishes in when I need to wash dishes and carry them upstairs. So yeah, that's that area. Over here, as you can see, I have a drying rack set up with some yarns on it. I can show you guys the yarns, which will be more fun. So yeah, this was a rainbow one that I did that I was trying out for my collection, which completely was a fail, and I like it, but it's not gonna work for my collection. So yeah, I'll probably just, if anybody has an interest in this rainbow skein, let me know. And then just some other ones that I dyed that were kind of, cast-offs that weren't really part of my collection that didn't work out. But yeah, this is where I use to put my yarn to dry. My husband just rigged this up. This is just a clothes dryer from Walmart. I think it was a couple bucks. I just strung it up on string so I can lower it and raise it if I want. So if I want this to be like out of my way and not down here, I can raise it up into the ceiling. But yeah, when it's a solo, I can still kind of squeeze all the water out into the pans that are. I just put pans underneath it so that it drips into there. Obviously, in the summertime, I've just been chucking my yarn outside on my deck and on my fence, attaching it to my fence to dry because it dries way faster outside. But yeah, in the winter, I'm going to need something obviously better. And behind that yarn is obviously my personal stash of yarn. So like a lot of my own personal yarns that I have. There's a bunch of containers there and a bunch of my knitting stuff that's just kind of stacked up in the corner, which isn't really part of my dyeing. It's just there because I have nowhere else to put it. But yeah, and then over here I have this wooden shelf. I think my husband bought this for me at Walmart. It was like $40. He had to put it together. It's real pine. I'm planning on some point finishing it, and it comes completely unfinished, so you can paint it or stain it or do whatever you want with it. It's not the nicest looking thing, but it would be if I finished it. But yeah, on this shelf I have up here, I have some of the yarns I've dyed and labeled that I haven't stored in a plastic container yet. I have my dyeing book. I have a couple of tiny little mini skeins. And I have the sign that my husband bought me that says, "I am very busy," which is very important. And this is where my yarn is, or my string is tied for my drying rack. And then here is where I keep my pan. And then here I have, I thought maybe you would use. I got extra spoons, measuring spoons, scissors, measuring cups, a funnel, one of these squirty things. Just a bunch of stuff that I kind of chucked down in here that I thought maybe I could use at some point for playing around with dye. So yeah, I keep that there. In here on this shelf, I have two of these plastic white containers, and this is where I keep. In here, I have a bunch of paint samples that I occasionally collect from places. Shh, don't tell. Technically, they're free, so I'm not stealing. But I'm not really painting anything either. But I use them for color inspiration, and I use them in my planning book. I kind of like use these to plan out colorways, just as inspiration. And so yeah, I have just some planning notes in here, and in here is like my packaging stuff, so my packaging bags and my labels, anything I use like to package up the yarn after I dye it. And if you look down further here on this next shelf, I have all of my pots, which so far I have a steamer pot, this smaller pot, and then this behind here there's like a huge pot, and then I have just a crock pot. These are all dedicated dyeing pots. I don't use them in my kitchen or anything. This one I got on clearance at Canadian Tire. The other two, I believe I picked up at a yard sale. The crock pot someone gave me for free. So yeah, not, expensive equipment. And then down here, I have a bunch of glass mason jars in all different sizes, so that I can use them to solar dye or use them to mix colored dyes in boiling water, because you can't do that in plastic cups. I learned that the hard way, which was really dumb of me, but I did. Yeah, so that's kind of a little tour of my space. It's not fancy. I have a lot of, still to work out, and I'm sure that I'm going to need more equipment as things, progress and whatnot. But yeah, this is my little area. This is where I kind of dye. Sometimes I do carry pots and stuff up and use them on my stove upstairs, but I do the dyeing and the mixing of the powder down here because I don't want to get acid dye in my kitchen because my counters are white. So yeah, I mix everything down here, and then I just kind of carry the pot carefully up and set it on my stove and then heat it there if I need to. But yeah, I think that's pretty much my dyeing area. It's not fancy. Pretty decently organized. I still have a lot of organizing to do. But yeah, there it is. My home away from home. So yeah, if you guys have any suggestions or things you think I'm missing or things you thought were, you know, helpful or anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. I don't really think I know what I'm doing, but sometimes other people don't know what they're doing also. So, and then sometimes there's other dyers out there who have been dyeing for a long, long time, and they have lots of good tips for me, which I love all my friends that are dyers because they have been helping me humongously. But yeah, I guess that is really all I had. Yeah, there's my door. If you want to see the door, it's fancy. It's a door. It shuts. Yeah, and then I have this couch that I just brought up from downstairs, or brought down from upstairs. That is my room. It's not fancy, like I said, but it's my own little space. Ever since I had to give my craft room up when I had my daughter because she needed a bedroom. But yeah, stay tuned next week. Hopefully next week I will be unveiling my colors that I've been working so diligently on and trying to get perfect. That's the unfortunate part. I'm kind of a perfectionist and I want things to be a specific way. So I'm trying to achieve a specific thing. If I was just dyeing and throwing color and, things are turning out pretty, it's not exactly what I wanted. So then I redo it. But yeah, it's not wasted yarn. It's still beautiful colored yarn. It's just not exactly what I wanted, but I'm sure I'll use it for something, or somebody will use it for something, or somebody will want it. And yarn never supposed to waste. Or if I wanted to, I could just, add more dye and over dye it and do something fun with it. But time will tell what I do with the stuff that was kind of the offcasts. I'm actually dyeing all of this collection on MCN fingering weight yarn. I also have a few skeins of NCN Stellina, so it's got the sparkle in it. So I'm gonna do a couple on the sparkle too, just so you guys can see that, because it's exciting. I've never done sparkle before, and I'm excited just to see how things look on the sparkle. But yeah, that is my little oasis that I get to come to barely ever. I'm hoping that once Alex gets into a routine and, things are all going good with his school and he's in school in the afternoons, and hopefully I can get Ellie into a nap routine where she takes a nap. Hopefully I can get her to nap somewhere where I can just turn the baby monitor on and leave her upstairs and then come down here and do some dyeing. But also I do most of my dyeing on the weekends when my husband's home, but during the day, because normally I plan to do it in the evenings, but Ellie hasn't been letting me do anything in the evenings recently, so I haven't been getting a whole lot done. But yeah, exciting things are coming. I will post pictures of my finished sweater so you guys can kind of see it in better light. Some good finished photos. And hopefully I will have my collection finished next week that I can show you guys. And I'm super excited to see what you guys think of it. Let me know what you guys think of the idea. I kind of think it's cute. I don't know. Maybe people think I'm crazy. Maybe people don't think the baby clothes is a very good inspiration for yarn colors, but I do. I think my daughter has like some of the most beautiful clothes I've ever seen. I'm really jealous, actually. I wish I had her clothes. But yeah, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys have a wonderful 2 weeks. I hope you are staying safe. I hope that, you guys have the happiest 2 weeks. And I will see you again soon.